big legal battle between India and Pakistan that's going to be played out live on television tomorrow at The Hague, or rather from The Hague, over Kulbhushan Jadhav. Here's the story. We are coming back for a debate after this.
India and Pakistan are ready to battle it out at The Hague tomorrow.
The historic hearing on Monday between India and Pakistan here at the International Court of Justice in The Hague is something that the International Court of Justice has been preparing for almost a week now. There are at least 3 such examples or precedents which the top sources from the Registrar's Office of the International Court of Justice have confirmed to me.
While the International Court of Justice will be hearing arguments on Jadhav tomorrow, the International Commission of Jurists has already given its verdict on Pak's misdeeds.
But now it's up to international community how to make it understand that it has to do something which is the court says. But it's not yet clear what the court is going to say. The case is yet to be heard.
Whether they do not appear themselves or they try to put some lame excuse. I don't think this can work. The ICJ has taken a decision and it will stick to it.
The International Commission of Jurists in 2016 had urged Pakistan government to stop the trial of civilians through military courts, calling them illegal. Will the ICJ at Hague also expose Pakistan's hypocrisy? With Ashish from Hague, Bureau Report, NewsX.
The big legal battle between India and Pakistan over Kulbhushan Jadhav begins at the International Court of Justice, the ICJ, at The Hague on Monday. The ICJ, to begin with, is giving both India and Pakistan 1.5 hours to present their arguments. What are the likely arguments and counter-arguments? Can Kulbhushan Jadhav really be saved from execution in Pakistan? We have with us Neelam, former Indian ambassador and diplomat. She's joining us from Mumbai. Colin Gonsalves, senior advocate of the Supreme Court. He's joining us from Bengaluru. Zafar Islam, national spokesperson of the BJP. He's joining us from Mumbai. Professor MD Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. He's joining us live from Delhi. And Sultan Hali is a strategic analyst from Pakistan. He's joining us from Skype from Pakistan. Let's look at possible arguments that Pakistan may be giving at the ICJ tomorrow and how India might seek to counter them. Neelam, Pakistan's argument number 1 is likely to be that India and Pakistan have made an agreement in 2008. The agreement said that if the national of the other country is arrested on political or security grounds, a decision on consular access will be based on merit. Pakistan is saying that Kulbhushan Jadhav is a spy, therefore it's a security issue, therefore on merit they're denying consular access to him. How is India going to respond to this?
I think it needs to be remembered that just because a country calls it a security issue, nothing has yet been proved against Jadhav. No proof has been shared with anybody publicly. I don't think the court necessarily has to accept that assertion. In any case, it is also required, it is also the right of an individual to have access, to have legal access, to have some medical facilities made available. Pakistan has not provided any of this, and it has not shared what it claims is proof against Jadhav with anybody beyond one coerced confession.
All right. Colin Gonsalves, I mean, India can, of course, just simply say that Kulbhushan Jadhav is not a spy. He was picked up and framed in Pakistan. Pakistan is going to say that, well, we have a confession from him. How is the International Court of Justice likely to look at a confession that could have easily been forced out of him, and the other points of procedure that Neelam is raising as well?
Well, it's rather complicated, but the first issue would be as to whether, even if he was a spy or not a spy, India naturally maintains, and correctly so, that he was not a spy.
Yes.
Consular access is needed to be given, and he cannot be denied consular access of the country to which he belongs, one. Second is, in any case, ought the death penalty to be imposed, and is there justification for imposition of the death penalty? That's the second issue which India would raise under Article 36(1), which is the statute of the ICJ, which is compulsory adjudication. I think the main point that Pakistan may possibly argue is that there is no jurisdiction to take this case forward. Because there's a previous case where India shot down a Pakistan plane, and Pakistan went to the ICJ, and ultimately ICJ held that this incident regarding the shooting down of a Pakistan plane, they had no jurisdiction to adjudicate. Something linked to the fact that both countries were Commonwealth countries, and therefore the ICJ had no jurisdiction. So it's a little complex, but I must congratulate the Indian government for taking a very bold legal stand in moving the ICJ up to
you raised a very important point that Pakistan's main argument could be that India, refused the jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice when India shot Pakistan's Atlantic aircraft in 1999. Okay, because at that time, of course, India said the ICJ cannot adjudicate on disputes between India and other Commonwealth countries. So, I mean, that, as you said, could be Pakistan's argument. How do you imagine India is going to try and get around that?
I think India is looking at Article 36(1) and not 36(2), which calls for compulsory adjudication. And I think that since India and Pakistan have both signed the optional protocol to the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, it is quite possible that India could win an argument that consular access should be given, one, and there is no justification for the hanging of an Indian citizen in Pakistan. But I must say, this is an area of law which is very little understood, even by people like myself. And I hope the Indian government has the best of luck in arguing this case, particularly on jurisdiction.
All right. Okay. Let me turn to Sultan Hali from Pakistan. Number of points over here. Sultan Hali, let's take them up one by one. First of all, the Pakistani argument could be the ICJ has no jurisdiction. You could cite the Atlantic case of 1999. You could be citing the India-Pakistan agreement of 2008, which said that decisions on consular access could be based on merit, on security grounds. And may I point out too, as far as the latter agreement is concerned, this 2008 agreement between India and Pakistan has not been registered in the United Nations Secretariat. And the UN Charter says that every treaty and agreement between countries that are member countries has to be registered. Otherwise, you simply can't invoke them. Mr. Sultan Hali. All right.
Merit hearing by the International Court of Justice, because it will not be binding on Pakistan. It needs two to tango, and Pakistan has not agreed to this.
No, we lost your audio in the beginning. What are you saying that Pakistan has not agreed to what? All right. Mr. Sultan Ali, are you able to hear me? Mr. Sultan Ali? All right. Yeah. Okay. We'll try and fix that. Okay. I think we'll have to try and fix the audio to Mr. Sultan Ali. In the meantime, let me just bring in Professor Nalapat. Professor Nalapat, Colin Gonsalves was saying that Pakistan's biggest sort of weapon over here could be the issue of jurisdiction. The fact that they could cite the Atlantic case of 1999. What do you think of that? I mean, how do you think India is likely to deal with that issue that Pakistan may bring up, the issue of simple jurisdiction of the ICJ over this case?
Well, Tujar, I'd like to say that India is the party that's gone to the ICJ. So I'm sure that the lawyers have had a good look at all the facts of the case, and they probably believe that India has got a good case in going to the ICJ and getting the ICJ to accept that this is a valid case. So there must be valid reasons for that, which we, frankly, who are not lawyers and who are not experts in international law at all, may not be privy to. I simply want to say that I mean, this frankly, this individual has unfortunately become a kind of a victim of the very bad relationship between India and Pakistan. Now, you can talk about mediation, you can talk about conciliation, but there has to be a certain minimum decorum and a certain minimum trust between the two sides. And unfortunately, in the case of India and Pakistan, that minimum is not there, and that trust is absolutely not there. I mean, for example, Mr. Jadhav, let's assume the ICJ gives a verdict that he should be released. If he is released, it will be seen as something which is negative for the Pakistan army. So I don't foresee the Pakistan army being in a hurry to release Mr. Jadhav. The sad fact is, it's going to be much more than law and much more than the ICJ that will do justice to this unfortunate individual.
All right. Well, NewsX's Ashish Singh is at The Hague. In fact, he was the first Indian journalist to reach The Hague after this decision of the ICJ to hear this matter broke out. Let's go live across to The Hague and join Ashish Singh over there. Ashish, so the big battle between India and Pakistan, this time in a court of law, going to be fought out tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. India time. Who from the Indian side has already reached over there? What is happening at the Hague right now?
So Jujhar, the countdown for the historic hearing between India and Pakistan at the International Forum has begun. In just few hours from now, we will have the first argument by the Indian government. That would be, as per the local time here, from 10 to 11:30. So as per the Indian time, it would be, say, 1:30 to 3 p.m. And then after a break of 3 to 4 hours, the Pakistan government would get the opportunity to argue. It's basically the gap is basically for the judges of the President of the International Court of Justice to go by each and every oral presentation that has been made by the Indian government between 1.5 hours from 1:30 to 3 p.m. India time, and the Pakistan government would get again 1.5 hours to argue from say 6:30 India time to 8:30 p.m. India time, and that's the reason why the proper gap has been kept between both the oral presentations, so that after the Pakistan government completes the entire oral presentation, the oral observations, and then the President of the International Court of Justice would quickly be able to make an order on provisional measures. This is an important thing that we must inform our viewers, that it's not going to be a final verdict of the entire hearing. Tomorrow what we are going to hear is just the order on provisional measures. What would basically Pakistan government will have to do as far as Kulbhushan Jadhav's death sentence is concerned. Now, talking about the strategies from Indian and Pakistan government side, both the teams have already arrived.
We'll just come back to you on that. I'm going to come back to you again, but I just want to quickly bring in Saeed Zafar Islam from the BJP. Saeed Zafar Islam, another argument of the Pakistanis could be that, look, after Kulbhushan Jadhav's conviction by military court in Pakistan, the 3 levels of appeal he can make use of, and until they're exhausted, the ICJ cannot take up his case. What do you want to say about that?
Pakistan, as we all know, there's a rogue country. They can take any stand they want to take a stand. But we know that we have a very strong case to expose Pakistan, and we will be attempting to expose Pakistan in ICJ. Our counsel is very confident of getting a good look by the ICJ, and we are very confident of our victory in ICJ. Yeah. As far as Pakistan, everyone knows that he has been picked up in Iran. He is not a spy. He has been picked up in Iran, and he's painted as a spy by the Pakistani authorities, and illegally he was detained and he was convicted based by the military court, even though there is absolutely no evidence against him. Yeah. He was denied the consular access, and that shows that the Pakistani stand is clearly
In fact, I just want to ask Colin Gonsalves about this, because Mr. Gonsalves, if the Pakistanis argue, which they very well might, that look, he still have 3 levels of appeal left in Pakistan, I suppose India could say that, how can Kulbhushan Jadhav appeal without consular access, without a known charge sheet, without even a lawyer?
Absolutely.
So you're absolutely right, but there's a stronger argument. Military courts used against civilians are suspect throughout the world. And the UN has come out with a series of guidelines over many years, and there's a lot of jurisprudence on this, that military courts are all right for military personnel in matters of indiscipline, but they must certainly not be used in matters against civilians. So in Jadhav's case, the correct recourse would have been to the normal criminal courts and not the military courts of the country. I think that will be one of the strongest points, and the UN would be loath to accept a death sentence verdict of a military court against a civilian. That's point number one. And point number two, I think in death sentence cases, the UN may strike on a new path and say that we will look at the issue very carefully because we are looking at death sentence and death sentence of a civilian imposed by a military court. And that may be India's strong point in this whole debate.
You know, Mr. Sultan Ali from Pakistan, what's coming up again and again is the process by which Kulbhushan Jadhav has been convicted and sentenced to death. You put him to trial hurriedly in a military court without a lawyer, without a known charge sheet, without due procedure. I believe that the Lahore High Court passed a resolution on the 14th of April that if any lawyer in Pakistan defends Jadhav, his membership of the Bar Association will be cancelled. I mean, where's the rule of law in your country, Mr. Sultan Ali?
Start with military courts are very much legal in Pakistan. The Parliament of Pakistan has approved them. Secondly, it is wrong of you to say that defense counsel was not provided. The trial lasted for about 3 months.
Who was the defense counsel?
Please ask the Pakistan Army, they'll give you his name.
Oh, you mean even you don't know the name? It's so secret.
I'm not interested. No, why is it a secret?
What kind of defense counsel is this that nobody knows, even a Pakistani like you?
Look, you have been arguing that he has been denied consular access. The fact remains that according to
you have a Lahore High Court Association resolution which says if any lawyer defends Jadhav, his membership will be cancelled. Where's the rule of law? Where's the rule of law? I don't understand how a bunch of lawyers who should understand how rule of law functions, the right of every individual, even if he's an accused, to have a lawyer. I mean, where's the rule of law?
If you are going to ask me a question, then please wait for my response. If it is going to be a monologue, then there's no point in having a dialogue with you.
Go ahead, I'm waiting.
Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is that whatever the Lahore High Court may have said, it is applicable to civilian lawyers. Commander Kulbhushan Jadhav, who happens to be on active service of the Indian Navy, according to his own statement, and he's going to retire in the year 2022.
According to his own statement. I mean, he's in the custody of the Pakistan Army ISI. How do you think they extracted the statement?
Well, the statement was recorded in front of a magistrate first class of the government of Pakistan. And a charge sheet has been provided to you.
You seriously believe a statement like that extracted under those circumstances?
No, why should it be extracted? He gave it of his own
Hello,
effort because
Mr. Sultan Ali, even in India, even Ajmal Kasab was given a lawyer, and everybody knows who the lawyer is. Even Yaqub Memon was given a lawyer. And you had our Supreme Court sitting up at 2 at night to hear a last-ditch appeal against execution of his.
So what is your question?
Well, the question is over here is that we have an open rule of law, a system of criminal procedure. Everybody knows who the law is, what the charge sheet is, what the right of appeal is. We don't know the answers to any of these questions concerning Jadhav in your country.
I think Mr. Sartaj Aziz has already provided you with the charge sheet and has also informed you that he has 40 days to appeal. And out of those 40 days, a month has already passed.
What charge sheet has been provided? No charge sheet has been provided. What rubbish is that?
Please don't use words like rubbish. I read the charge sheet myself in the various newspapers.
And what is interesting over here, Mr. Sultan Ali, is that that Kulbhushan Jadhav's death sentence has been confirmed by the Pakistan Army Chief himself. His first right of appeal is an army tribunal. I mean, how can we expect an army tribunal to overturn a confirmation of a death sentence by its own army chief?
President of Pakistan is supreme, and Mr. Kulbhushan
That is the
Jadhav,
third right of appeal.
Yeah, but he can always appeal to the President of Pakistan.
Yeah, no. That is the third right of appeal. Why do you even have a first right of appeal to a military tribunal in Pakistan when the military chief of Pakistan himself has confirmed the death sentence? Is this a joke? You think a military tribunal is going to overturn their chief's verdict on this?
Well, there is no joke over here. We are talking about a human
Yeah,
life.
it isn't. Precisely. It's not a joke. But you people are turning it into a joke.
No, it's not a joke because the man has confessed not just to being a spy, but
you
to be
keep
a
going on. The only evidence you people
terrorist.
have against Kulbhushan Jadhav is a confession. If a man, an Indian man, is in the custody of the Pakistan Army and ISI, I'm sure they can get him to say anything, including that the color of his skin is purple.
Or you can argue till the end of the day, but
Professor
the fact is that
Nalapat,
our
what do you want to say to Sultan Hali and his arguments?
Well, you know, Mr. Ali is sticking to the line of the Pakistan authorities, and frankly, they have created an entire narrative about India so-called interfering in Balochistan and creating problems in Balochistan. And Mr. Jadhav, unfortunately, is one of their exhibits to quote-unquote, to demonstrate the case. So they have obviously created a narrative around Kulbhushan Jadhav, and that's what I'm saying. Obviously created a narrative around Kulbhushan Jadhav, and that's what I'm saying. It's going to be very difficult for them to walk away from that narrative, irrespective of what verdict is given in the Hague or not. So an entire narrative has been created. The army in Pakistan has stood behind that narrative, and as we all know, the army in Pakistan is an extremely powerful force in Pakistan policy. And the decisions are not going to be taken by the Pakistan state which go counter to the views of the Pakistan army.
Neelam, one of India's arguments is likely to be that, and this of course concerns jurisdiction as well, that India and Pakistan are both signatories to the Vienna Convention, and the Vienna Convention gives the ICJ primacy in adjudicating on issues relating to the Vienna Convention. My question to you is that if the ICJ does decide in favor of Kulbhushan Jadhav, will Pakistan be forced to follow the decision, regardless of how much the Pakistani army may hate the decision of the ICJ?
You know, there is no coercive ability with institutions like this. This is going to be done on the politics of it. Right now, the civilian administration of Pakistan, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, that is, he is feeling, he's riding high. He's right now in Beijing for the Belt and Road initiative, where the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is the centerpiece. So he is being given a lot of prominence by the Chinese leadership. Within a few days, he's going to be in Saudi Arabia, where he will be meeting the American president along with other Muslim countries. I think Pakistan does not feel isolated. It will not feel any of the pressure from
And you're saying, even if the ICJ adjudicates against Pakistan, the ICJ has no coercive mechanism with which to ensure that the decision is followed by Pakistan.
Yeah. No, not really. And of course, because there will be no effort by the United States, by countries like that, to make Pakistan accept the judgment. It's a most unfortunate situation, and one can only hope that Kulbhushan Jadhav is not the victim of this kind of politics.
Mrs. Saeed Zafar Islam, I mean, this is the problem. Even if the ICJ decision goes against Pakistan, what if it refuses to follow the decision? And, this now concerns, it's an ego issue, it's a prestige issue with the Pakistan army. What will happen then?
Well, let's wait for that, but I'm confident that once the verdict will be in our favor, then Pakistan will have absolutely no option but to comply with that, because Pakistan knows that he is violating the human right. There is a clear cut of human right violations.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not feeling as confident as you are, because you realize that Kulbhushan Jadhav has become a huge prestige issue for the Pakistan army.
No, but it may be an issue for Pakistan army, but Pakistan cannot think and dictate in isolation. It is now the whole global community is watching Pakistan and the rogue country, how they are.
Yeah, but
how they are
Neelam, has just pointed out that Pakistan has a lot of powerful supporters, China, the OIC, etc.
See, they are naturalized. People know that these countries may support Pakistan because they have been with them forever, but that do not represent the whole of global community. If the global community,
yeah, but I don't know about that because Colin Gonsalves, one remembers in 1999.
And in the past we have seen, no, but Jujar, in the past we have seen that there are many OIC members have deviated from Pakistan and took a stand in favor of India, and even recently, in last year, we have seen that even Iran and Saudi Arabia took a stand.
But this is very different. I think this has become a big ego issue, a big prestige issue for the Pakistan army. Colin Gonsalves, it's been widely reported how in 1999,
clear-cut case of a violation of human rights violation, and they have not given access, legal aid to Kulbhushan.
No, those are legal arguments. I'm saying even if the decision goes in India's favor, how do we enforce it? Colin Gonsalves, it's been widely reported that in 1999, Germany secured the stay of execution of Walter Legrand in the United States. But the US refused to comply with the ICJ order, and they went ahead and executed the man.
Well, if this is what
yes,
Pakistan...
I know.
The question was to Colin Gonsalves.
The ICJ may enter an order in favor of the Indian government.
Yeah.
Yes. It's possible that ICJ may enter a decision in favor of the Indian government, and yet the Pakistan government may disobey and execute Jadhav. But I must say, they would be taking a big risk in doing that, not simply on the basis of, it's not enforceable as far as Pakistan is concerned, but because public opinion would swing terribly against Pakistan. There would be, I think, international outrage if there was an ICJ decision and an order given to stay the execution, and yet Pakistan went ahead with it. So notwithstanding the pressure of the Pakistan army and the ego of the Pakistan army, so to speak, I think with the Pakistan civil administration and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, it would be very hard for Prime Minister of Pakistan to go against the ICJ judgment.
I mean, of course, because this is a prestige issue for the Pakistani army, though, less than the Pakistani government in a way, Mr. Gonsalves. So I don't know whether, the Pakistan army, you know how tricky they are. I mean, they might, because it's a big ego issue for them, do what they have to do and let the Pakistani government pick up the rap. That's the fear over here,
Jujar, should the Pakistani government decide
we
to
can
go
only
ahead,
pray, one, that the Indian government turns out to be correct.
Decision coming in our favor, then Pakistan will have to deal with the eventuality, because India will not take it easily. And
let me just go back to Ashish Singh, NewsX's assistant editor at The Hague right now. Ashish, and of course, one of India's arguments will be that Kulbhushan Jadhav was kidnapped in Iran, he was brought to Pakistan, he was framed being a spy over there, he was then tried and convicted by a secret military court. What are you picking up? I mean, how is India going to question the validity of this whole secret judicial process that was carried out in a big hurry out there in Pakistan?
See, Jujar, the Indian government has prepared at least 4 to 5 different levels of this argument. I would be able to reveal only the 3 aspects. The remaining 2, keeping the national security and Kulbhushan Jadhav's life is at stake. These aspects in mind, it will not be in the national interest that what I have learned from the sources of the officials of the registrar of the CIJ and from the Indian legal team that is already here in The Hague. One, that the Indian government's basic argument would be on the human rights issue, 2, on the consular access, and 3, on the Pakistan military court conducting an entire trial for Kulbhushan Jadhav, who is now a civilian, an Indian citizen, and he is no more a military person. He retired from the Indian Navy a few years ago. So these are going to be three basic points of argument from the Indian government side. Yes, as I mentioned, there are two more stronger and bigger points of argument, but that is something we leave it for the Pakistanis to hear it directly from the Harish Salve and his team tomorrow morning here in the Hague. Now, the other aspect that I have been informed about the Court of Justice, how the CIJ is looking, the International Court of Justice is looking at the entire case. What I have been informed by the officials of the registrar of the CIJ are the three cases, one Briard case of April 1998 of Paraguay versus USA. The second case is of March 1999 of Germany versus USA, and third case is of January 2003 of Mexico versus USA. In all these three cases, going by the history and the details of these cases, the Indian government's legal position is much more stronger as compared to the Pakistan government here at the International Court of Justice as per the arguments on Kulbhushan Jadhav case is concerned. So we are expecting that at least we get at least in just by the time the same time in just 24 hours from now, we will be getting positive news for Kulbhushan Jadhav, maybe a temporary one, but certainly the Indian government's position is much stronger as compared to Pakistani government.
Sultan, Hali, in Pakistan, you give no consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav, you don't have any known lawyer, you don't have a known charge sheet. And please remember, your de facto foreign minister, Sartaj Aziz, told your own Senate in December last year that the dossier on Kulbhushan Jadhav contains mere statements. It does not have any conclusive evidence. Yet you people go ahead, convict the man, sentence him to death, and you think you're going to win the argument based on a confession, which is a dubious confession from him.
Well, let me make it very clear to you that we are not really much bothered about any decision from the International Court of Justice, because you just heard sentences, and off the cuff I can remember three. One, the case of United States against Nicaragua, the second of Australia, of Iran in the hostage crisis. All these cases, whatever the verdict, the countries USA, Australia and Iran, they refuse to follow the verdict of the International Court of Justice. So Pakistan does not find it binding to act according to the verdict.
So even before the case has begun, you're already putting your hands up and saying, we will not follow it. You're already in the defensive. You already know you're going to lose because you have zero arguments. The only argument you have is a confession, which of course can be extracted anyhow from a person in your custody. This is the moral state of Pakistan. This is the legal state of Pakistan. How bankrupt are you people?
Bankrupt or not, we have Kulbhushan Jadhav. He has been sentenced to death and he is going to hang till he dies.
He is going to hang. Okay, hold on. You just told me there are 3 rights of appeal yet. How have you already made up your mind? What about Sartaj Aziz, who told your own Senate that there's no conclusive evidence against him?
So, Sartaj Aziz did not have all the facts in December. The case was tried from January to April 2017.
Now your own foreign minister didn't have any information, didn't have all the information. You really are a banana republic.
You can call us what we like, but Kulbhushan Jadhav is going to hang till he dies.
Well, you really are a banana republic, because even though there are 3 rights of appeal, you're already announcing with so much flamboyance that Kulbhushan Jadhav is going to hang. I think you should be ashamed of yourself.
Why should we be ashamed? We are proud that we have caught your...
Because you're a banana republic.
Because
you're a banana republic.
We finally have evidence.
Because you're a banana republic.
India was trying to destabilize Pakistan and Balochistan through Kulbhushan Jadhav, and he is the living example, and we are going to set an example by hanging him.
Yeah. Well, I hope the banana republic lawyers come out with the same arguments, at the International Court of Justice, because just like you are making a laughing stock of yourself over here, they'll make a laughing stock of themselves in front of the world as well. We look out for what happens.
At the end of the day, Kulbhushan Jadhav is going to hang, and be rest assured on that.
You guys, really. Anyway, let's take a break. 1:30 p.m. India time from tomorrow onward, we're going to be showing the arguments at the ICJ live over here.